Welcome back, folks. Today I want to talk about possible rumor correction around the Sigma lens announcement, because there will be two lenses coming in late February, so that's for sure, but there might be a correction on one of the rumors I shared the past days. There was probably a miscommunication, so I'm working on it, but I want to make that correction for you, and also talk about a first round of Sony A7R6 specs that is going around the web, and I think are likely to not be true, but many are reading them, so I want to give my 2 cents about that, and also share some other news that happened in the past 24-48 hours. Before we kick off, the usual reminder to like this video to have a YouTube algorithm, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification button to not miss out the upcoming rumors. So let's kick off with the news first. Canon did announce 2 new RF lenses, and you can read about the lenses at canonbuzz.com, so jump over that website to read what those lenses are and how good they are. I published everything there, but those lenses were rumored already since a couple of days, and now they have been announced. There is no new camera yet. I don't know if the R7 aps-c camera, the new model, will be announced before the CP Plus show. Still not sure about that. But we got 2 lenses from Canon, and there's also a limited edition G7X that will be released in April, but really it's not interesting in my opinion. It's just a camera with no additional features and just some design clues, okay? And also today the Viltrox 60mm 1.8 L-mount lens has been announced, so finally we have the first L-mount lens from Viltrox. And today we also got the announcement of the new SJ Image 35mm 2.2 full-frame pancake lens. This lens is made for the Nikon Z for the Sony E-mount. The Leica L-mount version will be coming in March, April, and according to Chinese sources, this lens has been launched in China first, and it's not available outside of China, and the first batch already has been sold, so there is a high request for this lens. So I don't think we will see this lens anytime soon in Europe, other Asian countries, and in North America and so forth. So it will take some time, but this is quite an exciting lens because it's very compact, fast, and has autofocus full frame. So I'm really considering for myself to buy a lens like this. So that was the news. Now let's move on to Sigma. So a couple of sources told me that Sigma will announce actually 2 lenses at the CP Plus show. And I told you in one of the previous videos that one of the sources told me it's 85mm 1.2. But now I got some possible correction. I'm still working on it, but another source warned me actually that this is a 2nd generation prime lens and not a 1.2. So maybe there was a miscommunication. I don't know if this means that this is the 85mm 1.4 2nd generation, and there was some misinterpretation, but just saying that usually the trusted source is right on Sigma stuff. I've been right the past years, but there could be a chance, and this time he got it wrong. So there will be a fast prime lens, but it sounds like a 2nd generation of an existing fast prime lens. So I'm just guessing that he misunderstood it and understood 85mm 1.2, but maybe it's 85 1.4 2nd generation. I'm still working on it, so sorry for that confusion, but I just want to let you know when there is uncertainty, and this is the case. There will be a 2nd lens coming. This is indeed a new lens, so I should get the specs about this lens and also about the possible correction very soon, so stay tuned. But we're getting 2 Sigma lenses ahead of the CP Plus show. We're also getting Sony lenses ahead of the CP Plus show. Still no confirmation if it's going to be the 100-400 4.0 GM, the 100-400G variable aperture. I just guess that both will be announced at the same time. And if also the 16-28 2.0 GM lens is coming at the CP Plus show. I don't know if all 3 lenses are coming, only 2. I'm still awaiting confirmation. If you have some info, you can contact me using this email address and contact form. Share any info about any manufacturer, and I will publish it then on my different rumor websites and obviously also on this YouTube channel. So thanks for that. Now, moving on to the Sony A7R6. I told you many times I think the camera is likely to come in the 2nd half of this year. And now, obviously, everybody knows that I say this, and now they're spreading their spec sheet about the Sony A7R6. So a new spec sheet has been published by a site that I know is not reliable at all in Sony stuff, but people are picking up this, and so I have to tell you that it's likely to be fake, so or made up, or he got the wrong info. He never got it right before. Of course, there's always a first time, but just to tell you that I'm working on the Sony A7R6 specs. I think I have found some more reliable info, but the specs that are going around now on the web, be very skeptical. I'm just reading to you very quickly what those specs are saying. According to those specs, the Sony A7R6 would use a 80 megapixel fully stacked sensor, which is already a red flag for me. Don't think a fully stacked sensor on a 4000-ish camera is likely. Fully stacked sensor very expensive, and more for the high-end camera. The A7R6 is a more high-end camera, but not trimmed for ultimate speed. I think it's more likely it would have a new partially stacked sensor, like for example a 180 megapixel medium format sensor. That will be a partially stacked sensor, and that I already told you before. So I think it will use more or less the same tech and not a fully stacked sensor. Other specs are quite obvious: 16 plus stop dynamic range, which would be great, but I think this is likely to be happening with the use of a partially stacked sensor. Bion's XR2 processor, 8.5 stops image stabilization, 30 frames per second in 14-bit RAW, 30 frames per second on an 80 megapixel camera. Of course, it's possible Sony can do it, but I don't know if they really would do it, because this camera is not made for the ultimate speed. No open gate, but it would have internal RAW video, and it would be released before November 2026. And according to that very questionable source, the camera would be announced well ahead of November 2026, which I think is the most likely scenario for A7R6 announcement, which means more like mid of the year, because the source said that in November we would get the A7S4 instead. And that's another red flag, because I haven't heard about a possible A7S4 coming anytime soon or this year. Of course, I hope to be wrong and we will get the A7S4. I would be happy. But there are many red flags, like the fully stacked sensor, the A7S4, 30 frames per second, and so forth. But I'm working on this Sony A7R6 specs, so wait for them. I try to be as consistent as possible. At least I have a track record of posting highly reliable rumors. Often I'm right, sometimes I can be wrong and make mistakes, but like 80-90% of the time I'm right, and that's the difference between me and the other sources that just share some news like this. Okay, folks? Anyway, today I didn't share any particularly new rumor, except for the fact that we are getting 2 new Sigma lenses by end of this month, so that's the news. It was more about correction or possible updates on existing rumors, and I hope in the next days and weeks to share more serious, reliable stuff. So hopefully some new info about the lenses, particularly from Sony. So I hope that some sources will now confirm what's coming very soon. But we are getting those lenses, and that's exciting. But still no camera from Sony at the CP Plus show. About that, I'm nearly certain. Okay, folks? That's it for today. Again, subscribe to the channel if you want to see the future videos with reliable rumors, and I see you very soon.